Yo. Good evening and welcome to the Sports Empire Network. As you can see, this is Top of the Key podcast. I'm not cool. This is Freddie. I'll be the moderator tonight. As you know, anytime I come host a show can get crazy. I mean, it's going to be a lot of debate. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. And I'm going to get under somebody's skin, and I'm ready to go. Right next to me is my brother, Coach Dante. What's going on, Coach?
What's good? What's good, Fred? Happy to be on. As always, just to let you know, hey, you tried a million times and it didn't work, and it ain't gonna start working.
Hey, you never know. Today might be the day. I'm just saying. And below us, he's making his debut here at the Sports Empire Network. Mike B, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's good, y'all? Happy to be here. So let's get it.
Hey, Mike, before we start, tell the folks where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at the Mikey B _ or you can search on YouTube. I host a Chicago podcast, Chicago Unhinged, and I also talk other sports on a different channel. But yeah, just everything be on Twitter if you're looking for me.
Shout out to that, and shout out to everybody that's going to be viewing this, viewing it live, viewing it throughout the week, viewing it on Spotify, Apple, and all that good stuff. Want to thank you for supporting us. Like I said, I always say, we're nothing without you guys. But let's get into it. You know, the gentleman to my right, below Coach Dante, right beside Mike B, Kyrie Irving, is not playing tonight. Luka Doncic, I believe he said he's playing one quarter. Only one quarter. Man, if you guys was a general manager, what would you do to fix this Dallas Mavericks team? And Mike, I'm gonna start with you. And shout out to Kyle. Just saw you pop up in the chat. But Mike, if you was Mark Cuban, what would you do this offseason? Because clearly they're prepared for the offseason. They giving up on the season. They're in full tank mode. I believe that they have a first round draft pick. That's which it's a swap between them and Chicago. And if they're pretty much in full tank mode. What would you do if you was the general manager for the Dallas Mavericks?
I mean, I would try to go. We seen Luka play his best with like 3-and-D wings. I would try to go out and try to get him a elite 3-and-D wing. Not no like Jaylen Brown would be nice. Somebody of that caliber to play alongside Luka that can play off the ball as well and that can take over games. We've seen the Porzingis, him and the big that haven't worked, and we see him with a dominant point guard. That's not looking like it's going to work, but you can't really hang the hat on this season because those two guys, they need a whole all season to try to get chemistry. So I think you can work things out with those two if you want to take the time, but it's all up to Mark Cuban to see what direction he want to go to. But I would try to get a elite wing defender that can play alongside Luka Doncic.
That's you brought some great points. Before I put my 2 cents in a bag of chips in this conversation, I'm going to let Coach Dante tell the folks what he would do.
First of all, I wouldn't mind if they work it out with Kyrie one more season. I don't think Kyrie is the problem of the team. I don't think scoring is an issue of the basketball team. I just think the defensive side of the ball. You look at every score, every time, every final game that they have when the game goes finals, they're giving up at least 120 to 130 points. So that's telling you right away you're not very good. You're atrocious on the defensive side of the ball. And I also think they need a rim protector. You don't have a rim protection inside that can stop nobody from getting inside of the paint. So I think you put with Kyrie Irving, if that's going to work out with Kyrie Irving and Luka, which is they going to be able to score on the offensive side of the basketball. You need an elite wing that can stop somebody, that can guard the opposing team best player, and you need somebody that can protect the rim. Christian Wood is not a rim protector. He's too small. Maxi Kleber is too small. Yes, he can go out. He can shoot consistently, but he's too small. But I think you need an elite defender, and I think you need someone that can protect the rim to put around if it's going to work between Kyrie and Luka.
Before I give my opinions on this, I'm going to go with a few things that the chat have gone over. Maurice said, would you trade Luka if you got the number one pick, aka Big Vic? Coach, would you trade Luka?
I don't think I would rather do it at this time. I just think I think you give it one more run back, and I think you just find a way. I think you just find a way to get a rim protector and a wing defender out there. I just think you try to work it out one more time. I just think you try to at least work it out for one more season. If it doesn't, then you can consider probably your options could be on the table after that. But I think they need some rim protection and some defensive wings out there that can guard somebody.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen the biggest troll for the Lakers, for who hey, my brother Chris Brown, oh my bad, Chris Robinson has popped up. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're good. We're good. Hey, Chris,
Good,
I'm gonna get
Chris.
to you. I'm gonna get to you in a few minutes, but let me finish a few of these comments, then I get right to you. Kyle said, "Get back the pieces you traded for Kyrie," and Desmond said, "Defense win championships." What's up, Daniel? Thank you for tuning in. Maurice says, "If you commit to Luke and Curry, the Mavs need to add multiple wing defenders and an athletic big." I definitely agree with you. Chris, I'm gonna let you jump into it. If you was Mark Cuban and you were building it's your responsibility this summer to make this Mavs team a championship competitor team. What would you do to change it?
Luka a hoe. That's what I would do. I need cool on here for this one. All jokes aside, I think Mike said it earlier. You go out and find you a 3-and-D guy. That's gonna be the best thing for Luka, just somebody to help with defense, because that's their liability. You go get Kyrie, who's another ball dominant person that doesn't know what you need. You gave up defense to get him. Who said it? Kyle. Go get back what you traded. That's really it. I mean, I really don't know what you can do, because who has shown that what does Luka really need though? I mean, they did good last year, but let's be honest. Dallas didn't do it that good. Phoenix just did that bad. And I say that as a Suns fan.
Wait, you're not no Suns fan. You're a CP3 fan. You're a CP3 fan. You're not a Suns fan. Because that CP3 leave, go to the Jazz this summer. Guess where you're going to be? Having a Jazz t-shirt on. So I don't want to hear it, Chris. I don't want to hear it from you, sir. I don't want to hear it. Listen.
I didn't come out here to be bullied.
Who said I'm gonna bully you? I mean, I understand I'm not good. I'm not trying to bully you, but okay. Listen. The first thing that I'm doing to Mark Cuban is I'm calling Luka. I'm saying, hey, you need to come sit in my office. I'm gonna say, hey, are you ready? Are you ready to win? Are you ready to win? And if you're ready to win, I need you to change your style of play. because your style of play will not work. This is the same style of play we seen James Harden in Houston. Dribble, 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 dribble the shot clock out. Oh, 4 seconds left. I don't have a shot. Let me pass it over to you. Oh, I'll take a bad shot. We seen Chris Paul do that in LA when he was at the Clippers. It don't work. We've only seen that offense work one time. And it took a super team to make that work. And that's with Cleveland with LeBron. But he had other stars beside him to make that work. And Kyle, I agree that somebody need to tell him. But I'm just telling you, if I was Mark Cuban, we're having that conversation because Mike brought up some interesting points. It seemed like he can't work with another point guard beside him. He can't work with another big. Because we've seen it with Porzingis.
Yep.
Hell, we even seen it now with JaVale McGee that he can't even get playing time because of Luka's style of play. I'm not blaming this on Kyrie, you guys. I've said this before. It is so easy to criticize Kyrie because of all the things that he's went through these last couple of years. That's the easy way out. But nobody want to criticize Luka for some reason. Luka's a bad. I know, but Luka's a bad man. I tell you, Luka is one of the best young players we have in the NBA. But he has to adjust his game. So that's the first thing. Number two, I'm bringing a solid big that can maintain the post, that can rebound, block shots, protect your interior. Then you need some 3-and-D guys. You can get a guy like Josh Richardson, somebody that's going to play defense, protect guard the perimeter, but also going to knock down shots. I'm doing moves like that to help improve that roster. Anybody else want to say something?
But I think that's can get you so far. I think he need like an elite player, somebody that can be a legit number two. Like if you run it back with Dorian Finney-Smith like you had, that's only can get you so far because those guys can get you about maybe 10 to 15 points on a good night. I need somebody to go out there and give me 30 and defend. So that's why I think they should go if they want to.
So you need a Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, but a wing, somebody who can give me 20 points to 30 points on any given night and still defend. Like, let's say Jaylen Brown, for example, a Jaylen Brown type of player who can get buckets, can play off you, and still defend. Even though there's only so many of those guys in the league, but that's kind of a player I can see Luka playing with.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this team, they need to set up like they did Allen Iverson back in the day. I don't think they need more offense. I think their offense is fine because you have two of the best offensive minded, in the game. They really just need defense. But I'm gonna throw a name out there, and I'm gonna ask y'all: if y'all was Dallas, would you throw them the farm? Because we just seen this trade deadline that they wasn't budging, so you want to give up the farm. Does a Mikal Bridges ring a bell? Wouldn't he be perfect for a team like this?
That'd be a nice piece. It'd be a nice piece. Mikal Bridges.
Somebody that's going to play elite defense, but also can spot up, shoot. He can create for his own. I mean, I think that'd be a real solid piece. But like I said, you would probably have to give up the farm for a guy like that because I've seen there's reported that teams are offering 3 or 4 first-round picks, and they were saying no. Maurice bring up a great point. Do you guys think that this might be J. Kidd's last year in Dallas?
I think he should consider being on the hot seat. I think he should consider, and I'm not saying fire him, but I think he should be considered of being on the hot seat. I'm not gonna say if it's his last year, but I think he should be on the hot seat. Depends on if you run it back next year. I think he deserves another opportunity to go with the same team next year. It depends on what happens. Then at that time I think you pull the plug.
All right. Oh, we can go to the next topic. This next topic is gonna be a little fun. So we've seen one of the biggest trades in NBA history. Kevin Durant.
Kevin Wayne Durant. Say it right.
I'm not saying no Wayne. Is that his middle name?
That's his name.
Really? Okay.
His mama named him Wayne.
Kevin Durant got traded to the Phoenix Suns, teamed up with Chris Paul,
Christopher
teamed up,
Emmanuel Paul,
teamed up with DeAndre Ayton, teamed up with Devin Booker.
Devin Armani Booker.
They did trade away Mikael Bridges, Cam Johnson, two vital pieces on that team. Um, they 7-0, I believe, when Kevin Durant plays. They're the fourth seed in the West. The finals locked in a lot of people's eyes. Probably the guy that's but below me. But do you guys think it's a lock for them to win a championship? Coach, I'll let you start off with this one. I know Chris thought I was gonna go with him, but I'm gonna go with you, Coach.
No, I don't think it's a lot. I still think as long as Golden State in it, I still think Golden State will be a problem to anybody that's in the playoffs as of right now. I done seen Golden State do it too many times. I know they're not good on the road. I know they're not very good on the road, but I'm talking about a healthy Golden State, playoff form Golden State that you seen took a punch in the mouth before and they're able to come back. I think as long as they in, I think they got an outside. I think they got a shot. And I think Denver can pose a problem to Phoenix also. So I'm not going to say they're locked to win a championship. I'm Golden State. As long as they in that tournament, you got to get them a shot. Got to give them a chance.
Chris, I gotta ask you a question. Do you promise to be nice? Do you promise to be nice, Chris?
I promise.
Okay, you can go.
I promise.
Okay, you can go.
Oh, I thought you said you had to ask me a question.
I asked you, you gonna be nice, and you said yes. I'm gonna let you
Oh,
go.
okay, I got you. All right. Is it a lot? No, it is not. What I'm about to say, I hate that this is being recorded. The team that I actually worry about is the Lakers. Them boys, I'm glad that we not playing them first round. Not Denver. I don't match up with them. Golden State, that's the issue, the road. And then you bring Wiggins back in. I know he's not, the star, but he's a vital part. So you got to get his chemistry in with everything too. But if my Suns beat the Lakers, it's a 7-game series, and I hope that home court gets, proves it. But that's the only thing I worry about. I think anybody else, a healthy Kevin Durant, a healthy Devin Booker, if we can get Ayton just to be 18 to 15 or something, nothing. We're not asking for like superstar numbers. Just be a 7-foot center. That's it. You don't have to be that dominant. Just protect the rim a little bit. But and we know Chris Paul, he's not expected to do much. Yeah, he's declining right now. But we did see last night he had the career high 7 threes. Steph,
man, what's going on?
And what?
Are you okay? I've never heard you talk like this before. Are you okay? I'm very shocked. Like, I know it's been a minute that me and you've been on the show together, Chris. But what's going on, brother? Like, I've never seen you like this before.
I didn't say the Lakers would win. I said that's the only team I worry about.
Listen, brother. You should be afraid. You should be very, very afraid. Because the days of you getting ready for Cancun, like my brother Maurice in the chat said, is coming very soon. This team isn't live for a championship, bro. I mean, you guys have no depth. I mean, let's just be honest. Everybody try to go after Anthony Davis with his injuries. What happened with KD pull a hammy or he have some type of knee injury? We've seen that the most common in the last couple of years that he's turning into a street clothes version. What happened if one of those hammies and Devin Booker happened? I mean, we've seen things coming y'all way these last couple of years. And like you said, Chris Paul isn't a sprung chicken anymore, brother. I mean, he's just not. After those three, you're really gonna depend on a DeAndre Ayton to carry the load for you. I mean, who's on that bench? I mean, I think y'all best chance is next year versus this year. I believe y'all have an off season. You see a lot of guys take a lot of pay cuts to come to Phoenix because they do know that they're top heavy. But I just don't see it right now. I mean, even if y'all did get to the finals, y'all not beating a Milwaukee Bucks team. You're not beating Philadelphia. You're not beating Boston. So I mean, I just don't
Nah,
see it
we
this
we
year.
beat Philly.
No, you're not beating Philly.
We
Philly.
beating Philly because Doc's coaching.
You know what, brother? I definitely agree. Losing Jay Crowder was a big loss for him. You know, I'm looking like who's this dog on this Phoenix team now? Like they're missing that dog, that guy that's not afraid to do the dirty work. I'm not sure I want Kevin Durant being that guy. I'm not sure if I want Devin Booker to be that guy. Um, I
You got a
just
Kogi. A Kogi's doing the dirty work.
okay, that's nice. I mean, he's not Jay Crowder though. I mean, he's gonna get tossed around tonight. You'll see that tonight.
Tonight
You
is an
don't think?
exhibition game.
So what? He gonna get tossed around.
Hell, he might play the first quarter like Luka and sit down.
Shit, he better, cause the game might be over in the first quarter. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's
Y'all
right.
haven't
Y'all need this though, huh? So y'all really finna be playing.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
hey,
y'all need this.
They
yeah,
need the game.
yeah,
They
we
need
do. You know why?
Yeah. This is still seeding for y'all. We
Yeah,
chilling.
because if Golden State lose tonight and the Lakers win both of their games, we're in the 6th seed. Just that simple.
Yep.
Yeah, and you'd rather play Sacramento than Memphis.
No, I rather Memphis. I'm gonna tell you why. Sacramento's a scary team. You know, they remind me of that Dallas team a few years ago that came into the playoffs, had no expectations, and they went on a run. This Sacramento team could score with anybody. They can score with anybody. They play no defense, but they can score. And I just don't want my Lakers running up and down the court. Memphis, they have a problem. And they're good in the full court. But you know, like I know, the playoffs it slows down. Will they be how would they act in a half court offense? And we've seen how the
Bro, it's the
Lakers
same
became.
problem. They're young and fast.
Yeah, but in half court, they don't have the shooters like Sacramento have. Sacramento have shooting. Sacramento have a big man. I mean, that's the only thing with Sacramento versus Memphis. Memphis don't have a big man, so AD gonna eat. He gonna eat. He gonna put up 35 and at least 12 in the playoffs on him. And we already know what Goat James gonna do. We already know what he gonna do. Hell, we seen that. We seen what he did the other night. Have 3 points in the first half, and then to turn it around and 30 points in the second half. And the NBA must
And
do a better
lost.
job at.
He did all that to lose to the
I
king of
agree.
LA.
He ain't no king in the LA. Don't do that. He
It's
must.
Kawhi Town, right?
The NBA got to do a better job. And Mike, I'm gonna ask you a question because we've seen this a couple weeks now. We seen last week Milwaukee get blown out by Boston. But they had a back. The Milwaukee did have a back to back, and the Boston game was behind the second back to back. The same way the other night, Lakers played Utah, and when they had the Clippers in the back to back, behind the back to back. I don't have a problem in playing back to backs, but my thing is, if to me as a viewer, they should have had the Clipper game in front of the back to back. Yeah, that's obviously that's the marquee game. That's what the fans want to see. If you want to cut out load managing from superstars, well, hey, set it up the right way. What is your thoughts on that, Mike?
So basically, you asked me what's my thoughts on like back to back.
Or do you agree that they should like have the marquee game first of the back to back, or leave it the way it is? Or what is your thoughts on that whole scenario?
I mean, it do make sense having the marquee game first. Players gonna be fresh, so I think that's the way it could happen. But it's the NBA, man. They like to do shit they way though. But it make the most sense putting the marquee matchup first. That way, you have no complaints for anybody who want to rest that second game, and the fans can see both teams healthy for the marquee game. And let's say you play the Rockets the next game, man. You be better off having LeBron James or Kevin Durant miss that Rocket game than missing the game against like the Phoenix Suns or the Clippers or the Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, and whatnot.
I got you. No, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they need to do a better job at that. There's no way the Clippers should have had 4 days off, and the Lakers just played a back to back. Like that's just so dumb to me. Uh, because I guarantee you, if it wasn't for the back to back, we would have won without a doubt, easily. Mike, but do you think the Phoenix Suns is locked for a championship this year?
Uh, Not this year, but I do think of KD will bring on one in the future. And I do think they should be talked about as being a favorite to win the championship this year. I feel like KD one of those guys that you can drop anywhere and it gonna work itself out. You ain't really got to prep or try to get guys together to jail because KD can play off the ball. He can be aggressive. Then you got CP3, one of the smartest point guards in the game, and then D Book. I already know what it takes to get there. It just don't forget about the big man. That's all I can say. But CP3, the games I have watched, CP3 kind of been feeding the ball to DeAndre Ayton. So I think they got all the formula to compete and win a championship. But they the one thing I would say is like I forgot who said it is the depth. Like I don't think that bench can probably can compete with some of these teams, and they don't have that dog. Like Jay Crowder would have been massive for this team. I guess you could say TJ Warren, but but I still like the Suns' chances against anybody in on the Western Conference. So I think not a lock, but I would say they could be a favorite to win it all this year.
Desmond, let me tell you this. Sir. I don't make excuses, but I'm gonna tell you, we sure are gonna hear a lot of excuses when this man Nikola Jokic is out of it. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be very soon, sir. So beat up on your chest while you can. Your day coming too, because we're gonna talk about them in a few minutes, but I'm gonna say what I gotta say in a minute. Um, Chris, so far we've seen, we haven't seen the six man of the year competition heat up the way that I believe is heating up right now. You have, great. You have Brogdon out in Boston is balling. You have Porter in Milwaukee. You have Quickly and New York. I mean, you have quite a few pieces. Heck, even Russell Westbrook early in the year was competing for it, but now that he's became a starter, that kind of eliminates him from that conversation. Who's your six man of the year this year?
Uh, right now, man, it has to be that Michael Brogdon. If Westbrook would have stayed with the Lakers, I would have rolled with him, but it's Brogdon.
Yeah, even Norman Powell. Yeah. Coach,
I think my thing on Norman Powell is like he's just. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. You good.
Oh, what's that? Norman Powell, man, to me, he's just not consistent enough. I know you coming off the bench, but still, like you just don't know what you're gonna get from him. Brogdon has been very consistent, which is that was a very underrated signing this summer too. Let me see. I don't know what his stats are, but I just from what I've seen off this guy, he's definitely. I'm looking up his stats real quick, but he's definitely been killing it for 6 man award. You know what? I don't feel like we talk about enough though. As a six man, is Tyus Jones for Memphis to fill in for Ja. I mean, I guess his stats don't show it either, but just being able to keep Memphis alive while Ja was going through everything. And what's up?
The impact.
Yes. Yeah.
Coach, who's your 6 man of the year?
Well, since Chris said what I was gonna say, I'm gonna go with a different player. I'm gonna go with New York Knicks guard Emmanuel Quickly. He's been on a tear for these last couple of weeks. He had 15 in the first quarter tonight. He had 30 overall last night, I believe, against the Indiana Pacers. The other night against the Indiana Pacers. So I'll say Emmanuel Quickly is a guard that come off the bench, can get instant offense. He also shoots a high average from three, and he's very young. And like I say again, he's an instant offense. He's a very good underrated playmaker. Okay defender, not great, but he definitely with this Knicks team is right now to be the backup point guard of this team and score at a high rate that he does. He's one of the reasons and one of the heart and soul of this Tom Thibodeau led Knicks team. And the way he's been on the tear and the way he's been playing all season, he definitely deserves some consideration of being, of being that 6 man of the year. So I'm going to take Emmanuel Quickly.
What's up, Key in the building? Too bad you ran from me. Too bad you ran from the show because I was ready to school you in Gene about that horrible loss the other day from the Philadelphia 76ers that's been on a 50-year drought. All right, Mike, who's your 6 man?
I was going with Malcolm Brogdon as one, and then Coach took Quickly from me. That was my second guy. So I'm gonna just throw in a curveball. I'm gonna go Malik Monk from the Sacramento Kings.
That's a good one.
I think this is a guy who, even though he had a solid year last year, a lot of people was writing him off last year. Then the Kings picked him up, and I think he's been playing real good for them. They shocked me. I did not have them even being in the playoff, and I think he's a huge part of their success. Playing some good defense as well. So Malik Monk, I throw him some love.
Hey, I'm gonna say something different. I'm gonna go Bobby Portis. To me, Bobby Portis is a guy that can start on a lot of teams, but it's unfortunately for him, he plays behind Giannis and he plays behind Brook Lopez. But there's a lot of teams that could use a Bobby Portis, especially at that 4. Especially how we've seen the 4 change, evolved into a spot up shooter. He's a guy that can post him up. You can get rebounds. He can play defense, and he can knock down a 3. He's had an amazing season, especially in times where he's had to, fill in for Giannis and stuff like that. He's had an amazing season this year for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm gonna go Bobby Portis. So, hey, can we talk about the battle of the big men? I mean, a few years ago, we were saying the big men were leaving the NBA, especially when Steph was doing Steph things. We've seen guys shooting threes, and the narrative was that the big man was leaving the NBA. But I can say that this year we've had the 3 big men compete for the MVP. We've seen Giannis, who probably won't get it because he didn't play enough games. We have Nikola Jokic, who's dang near averaging a triple-double for a center. And we have Joel Embiid that's just, playing out of his mind. I'm not going to lie, a few weeks ago, I had Jokic as my MVP, especially when Embiid ducked him in Denver. He ducked him. I don't care what nobody said. He ducked him. I don't know what it is, but he's afraid of that man in Denver. He haven't played him in Denver in 3 years. For some reason, he can get up and play in Philadelphia, but he can't play in Denver. I don't know what's up with that, but so at that point, I had Jokic. Jokic started missing some games. He played bad against Houston. The same night he played bad against Houston, Embiid dropped a 50-piece on the Boston Celtics and pretty much beat them by himself. So I have Joel Embiid back in that MVP, back in the leader of the MVP train. Mike, do you see the same, or are you going somewhere else with it?
Now I'm going with Joel Embiid. I feel like these last few years, you can say last year he was robbed. You can make an argument. I think this year he made it, a fact that to go out there, he wanted that MVP. And we seen the first matchup, he went at Jokic. The second matchup, we all wanted, but somehow he didn't play. He lead the lead in scoring. And I think when it comes to the voters, they not gonna want to give Jokic a third MVP. If Mike LeBron didn't get it, I don't think Jokic's going to get it from that side of things. But also, I think Joel Embiid really made it known that he earned it. And I don't want it to be like it just like we gonna give it to him because we feel sorry for you. But I really believe Joel Embiid has earned it this year. I think he's been playing fantastic. So I'm going with Joel Embiid. And
Coach,
even though he ain't averaging a triple double, Philly they don't ask him to do that. That's not his game. So I'm not gonna hold that over Joel Embiid because he's not averaging a triple double.
ooh, they just dropped the play-in matchups for the East. Ooh, I can't wait for the first ones, man. It is fire. We're gonna talk about it in a few. Coach, your thoughts on it? Who's your MVP?
It's Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid clearly is the MVP. I said I'm not mad because of Jokic got it last year. Jokic definitely had the lesser squad last year and still led that team to the playoffs and won a playoff game with him against a fully grown Golden State when his second best player was only Aaron Gordon. So again, that's a case that Jokic could have been made last year, but this year I think it's Joel Embiid. That 50-point game, him beating Boston by himself and the whole team, and the rest of the guys scored the other 50, scored the other 40 something points. They only had 103, and he scored 53 of them. That tells you something. The man beat that team by his own self, put that team on his back, and again, definitely deserved it. Definitely was a lot consistent this year. Definitely plays both sides of the ball at an elite rate. At the end of the day, man, respect Jokic for averaging a triple double this year. Impressive numbers, but I think Joel Embiid this year, I think is his year this year. So I got Joel Embiid. I had Jokic for some time until that 53-point game just basically solidified it. The game against Jokic did not solidify, but this game solidified. It made a statement to Jokic. His game made a statement to Jokic, but this game beating Boston, one of the top defenses in the league by himself, this game right here solidified the MVP trophy for him.
All right, Chris.
I gotta echo both these gentlemen's statement and say it's Joel Embiid. I really think what hurts Jokic this year is that he won it last year. If Embiid wins it last year, I think Jokic gets it this year. Just because of the historic pace that he's on. Like you said, he's damn near averaging a triple-double as a center. But you can't give Jokic it 3 years in a row just because of the historic context behind it. And Embiid got robbed last year for it. So, I mean, he deserves it this year. I'm not saying that, it's a...
He didn't get robbed, bro. He didn't get robbed.
No, he got robbed last year. Embiid should have won it last year.
No. Embiid had a team around him. Jokic had a bunch of nobodies around him, bro. Jamal Murray was hurt. I mean, bro, look what he did.
What was Jokic last year, like 6 seed?
He was 6 seed. I mean, that's good to be in the West with that type of team.
But he was still 6 seed?
Yeah, that was a 6 seed with Aaron Gordon.
Okay, then.
That was the second best player basically on the team. Aaron Gordon was the second best player last year. So then they didn't have Michael Porter Jr. They didn't have Jamal Murray. And the factor is, you still won a game against Golden State. You still won a game.
No, don't bring that up. That doesn't count for MVP.
I ain't saying counted.
MVP's a regular season award.
I ain't saying counted, but that just showed you how good Jokic is and what he did for the team, how impactful he was to the team.
You know what? Let's go. I was gonna talk about the playing next, but I see somebody that's in this chat that I want to go after. And Desmond, if you want to come on this show, let me know.
Desmond, come on, Desmond.
I'll send you the link.
Calling y'all too much.
I'll send you the link.
He calling you out. Come on, Desmond, man. He keep been coming at you ever since you joined, Desmond. You can't keep taking an assault, Desmond.
Is the Nuggets contenders or pretenders? I'm gonna answer the question first. They're pretenders, you guys. I mean, we're gonna see the same old, win a first round. Oh, get knocked out the second round. This is the next version of the Utah Jazz. This is literally the next version of the Utah Jazz. This team does not scare me. They play no defense. They have a center who's a bad man. I agree, but he's not guarding nobody. Um, I mean, who else can we trust? Jamal Murray? I'm not sure about that. Can we trust Michael Porter Jr.? He gets some shots up, but this team don't scare me. I mean, I can name you 3 teams in the West that will beat them in a 7-game series. I have the Clippers beating them. I have Phoenix beating them. I have the Lakers beating them. Hell, I might even go as far as the Memphis Grizzlies beating them. I mean, this team is.
You don't think Golden State would?
Yes, even Golden State. So there's like 5 teams in the West that can beat them, bro. I understand you might be healthy, but I'm just asking, who are you stopping? In the playoffs, it's about defense. Your offense shrinks and your defense increases. Who can y'all stop in the West? That's my question. Who can y'all stop? That's why I said they're pretenders. They're not contenders. They're pretenders. And that's why and Desmond, let me educate you real quick, brother. The Lakers are not old. See, that's where you see we only are 2 players that's 30, LeBron and AD. Outside of that, everybody's about 25, 26. So try again. What's your next excuse? Stop tap dancing like Michael Jackson. Keep telling you that. You're moonwalking.
Freddie, I'm gonna agree with you. That first round matchup, because I mean, if the Lakers fall to 8, Denver couldn't beat the Lakers. I don't think so. Man, I think Lakers get them out in 5, maybe 6. But
I hope we match up with them first round. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
You were just hoping for Memphis a second ago. Who do you want?
Well, Desmond, he talks a lot of talk. I just want to. Sometimes you have to prove folks who. Sometimes you have to prove folks who you are. You gotta show them better than you can tell them. And I believe if we take them, we it's gonna be such a bad whooping. It's gonna be like we're gonna take them to the back. We're gonna wear them out, and then we're gonna make them say sorry for talking all that talk, Mr. Desmond. I like you could do. But say that nugget talk. Only thing I trust in the nuggets when I go to McDonald's and I want a 10-piece nugget. That's about it. I don't trust no nuggets.
Freddie, you ain't ordering just a 10-piece. Stop it.
And then also, who's their solid number 2 piece? We see in the West that we're talking about all-stars, bro. Let's talk about Phoenix. Devin Booker has who? Kevin Durant. Steph Curry has who? Klay Thompson. Also have Jordan Poole. Also have Draymond. Wiggins is coming back. We're talking about the Clippers. Kawhi has who? Paul George will be back. I mean, even in Sacramento, Darren Fox has Sabonis. I mean, the Lakers, LeBron has who? AD. I mean, I'm not knocking what Jamal Murray can bring to the table, but we haven't really seen that Jamal Murray since he was dropping 50 when he was going at Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. And I'm not sure he can get back to that level. Mike, you want to piggyback off that? Are they pretenders or are they contenders?
I mean, it's hard. I can go either way. I think the Denver Nuggets team is still a good team, but I feel like I don't say they pretender. It's going to be tough for them to get out of the West. I do believe. I feel like if you look at 2 through 8, the opposing teams got like better players. Like if you line up Memphis, Ja Morant, he's better than would you say Jaren Jackson Jr. better than Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.? You can argue with that. The Kings, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, you can argue between the two. The Phoenix Suns, you know what they got, the Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, and the Pelicans. So it's going to be hard for them to get out of the West. But I think it's capable, but I don't know. I don't got them coming out of the West, but I do believe if they can compete with those teams, they got a fighting chance. I'm not going to say they can't do it. I'm gonna give them a shot, but it's gonna be tough. looking at the standings right now, it's going to be real tough, depending on how things shake up. Because
Desmond, you have playoff experience, but you have not been successful in the playoffs. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
they had a nice. Didn't they make the conference finals a few years ago? They had some type of decent success in the.
Mike,
Oh yeah, they
Mike,
did. They came back 3-1
Mike,
twice.
Yeah,
Mike,
twice.
Above them. Yeah.
Mike, let me ask you a question. In the Western Conference Finals, who did they lose to?
Who about last year or
No, when he's in the Western Conference Finals, the last time he was in the Western Conference Finals.
The Lakers here.
Lakers, yeah, Lakers.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
Lakers
okay.
won the championship.
All right, cool.
Maurice's
But
comment.
you can't just completely just rule them out though. I think I'm gonna give them a shot.
Hey, brother, I'm not gonna rule him out. But when Donovan Mitchell was in the West, I knew, okay, it's gonna be the same year Utah. They're gonna make a big run in the playoffs, but something's gonna happen from them getting over the hump. I mean, this is the new version of the Utah Jazz.
What's considered a failure for the Nuggets this year?
A failure is not
because even if they get eliminated the first round, is that
yes?
How much criticism is Jokic or somebody said Mike Malone might be having?
I'm gonna tell you, they have to go to the Western Conference Finals at least this year.
Yeah, I think Western Conference Finals, especially because they're the first seed. Jokic triple double, got Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter Jr. back. Aaron Gordon, Bones Highland. So they got some players over there. So I think this year they got to do something.
So, Coach,
but I mean, like if they don't, Mike Malone's job is safe.
No, it shouldn't be.
Do we criticize Jokic any?
No, Mike Malone's job should not be safe. Jokic definitely had that criticism. I would definitely think about trading a few pieces to get Jokic a solid number 2. But I don't think Mike Malone's job should be safe 100% though.
I get what Chris saying though. I don't think the only heat I can really say they'll get is probably you wouldn't hear Jokic's name in the MVP conversation. I feel like the Denver Nuggets team is not a team that like the Suns, Clippers, Warriors, or Lakers. Those are the teams that are going to get heat if they don't compete in this playoff. I think the Nuggets team is a team that they're going to talk about it because they hot right now, but they're not going to get like the heat from the media because it's not a team that you expect to get there. If they get there, they get there. If they don't, it's like, all right,
bro.
Exactly. That's my thank you,
bro. I totally disagree with that. Like they're the number 1 seed. We expect them to go far. We don't expect them to get
us as fans though. Not
don't
the
have
national
expectations
media.
Of, like if the Nuggets win the championship, it's like wow, they did it. If the Suns win it, they have Kevin Durant. They should do it. If the Lakers win it, they have LeBron. They're supposed to do it.
Clippers,
like
Kawhi,
they have the Nuggets have no pressure as a number 1 seed.
I disagree with you on that, but
I mean, the only pressure to me is Jokic being in the MVP conversation year in and year out. If they don't have Jokic, it's like I don't really look at this Nuggets team as being talked about.
Coach, we only have like 10 minutes left of the show. Real quick, are they pretenders or contenders?
I'm gonna be the lone wolf. I'm actually go with contenders. The same teams that you just named, like the Clippers or the Suns. I think, and the Grizzlies, the Lakers. I think the Nuggets can also beat, but I think the Nuggets could also lose to those type of teams. And I think if they match up against the Suns with a fully healthy team, I think they can beat them in 7. The Suns last night struggled against a B team of the Denver Nuggets last night.
We're not doing that. We're not gonna do that.
You had your starters playing. So don't say they weren't taking it for real. So you had your starters on the floor the whole game, and they struggled against the young guys. So yes, we can definitely.
That was a chemistry building game. That was just like a YMCA type thing. We were just trying to.
You can slice it up on a barbecue pit. You can slice it up on a pork chop. Doesn't matter how. There was chemistry. They always on the floor, and they did struggle mightily, but they found a way to get the win. You got to give them credit for that. But you can make an argument. Denver starters played, they kind of would have pulled it out last night the way the game went down. But other than that, I think having Jamal Murray back, having Michael Porter Jr., who got some size, who got some length, that's going to definitely help them out. But they also do have the potential to lose those type of games. The same teams that Freddie named, they also got the potential to lose. But I think they can match up really well against those type of teams. And Caldwell Pope got some championship experience with Freddie Lakers over there. That's going to be a key. Big key in the locker room. Reggie Jackson can put the ball in the basket. And the X factor is Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown, a defensive menace, and also has improved from the 3-point line. I think that's going to help Denver out in the long run. So
before last night, Bruce Brown had played 8 minutes this whole season.
Say who?
I said Bruce Brown played like 8 minutes this whole season before last night.
Chris, you've been smoking. He's a starter. Bruce Brown is a starter for the Nuggets.
And he comes out and he comes out like immediately. Bruce Brown, no.
No, he doesn't. He's a starter. He's a permanent starter. He was the only starter that played.
I know, but I'm just saying he's no.
Chris, so I'm gonna translate what Coach said. You struggled against a team with no starters. Could you imagine if you were playing the Lakers with LeBron, AD?
This isn't even about the Lakers.
Y'all
what are you doing?
Gonna struggle against us really, really bad. You watch tonight. But let's finish.
Wait, why is Desmond coming at me? I've been chilling. What did I do?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Desmond can't come after me because I put him in his place too many times. So he got to find somebody else, and he found you. But let's go.
Well, Freddie, if y'all don't take him out first round, me and Chris Paul do a second round.
Oh,
like wait, Freddie, y'all did it one year, and then we did it the next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all did. Y'all swept them. Y'all actually swept them.
Yeah.
The play-in for the East has been announced. You have the Raptors versus the Bulls, and you have Miami versus the Hawks. Hey, out of these two matchups, who are you guys going with? I'm gonna tell mine first. I'm taking Miami versus the Hawks. I believe they play too good of a defense. That's going to bother Trae Young. It's going to make him struggle. I believe that Trae Young is not going to be able to go off the way that he wants to. I agree, Kyle. Miami will blitz the Hawks. Then I'm gonna go Raptors. I'm gonna go with the Raptors. I'm gonna go with the upset there. I know
it's not
Chicago.
An upset.
I'm about to say I don't think that's an upset, bro.
Well, I'm just saying, Chicago, man, for them to have this bad of a record is such a disappointment. And we're not sick of it.
It really is.
They have great talent on there, bro.
Yep.
I mean, who would have thought of a team with Alex Caruso, Debo, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Pat Williams, put all these guys to be a playing team. I mean,
we ain't got no shooting. That's what happened.
Yeah, and y'all missing Lonzo bad. So I'm just gonna say I really think Siakam, Van Vliet, and all those guys will be able to pull off the win. Chris, do you agree with me or disagree with me, or you have another?
No, I actually agree with you for the first time ever. I won't make that mistake again. But yeah.
All right,
it seems like Miami's finally clicking. They getting everything together. I know they had some issues, it seems like, early in the year. But they finally got everything figured out, it seems like. And I think that they're gonna be dangerous in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mike.
They not gonna eliminate Boston or Boston or anybody, but that could be a 7-game series.
They can beat Philadelphia. They play Philadelphia.
Yeah, they can beat Philadelphia. I believe they can beat Philadelphia. I believe that's the one thing they can beat if they match up with them. I believe they can beat Philadelphia.
I got Miami over the Hawks because they always get Trae Young problems. But then, as a pain for me to say, I'm going Toronto over my Bulls because a lot of reasons that I can get into it, but that's for another topic. But yeah, I'm going Toronto over Bulls.
All right, Coach, you agree? Disagree?
Nah, I agree. No statement is wrong upon this situation. Either game will be fine, but like Mike B said, I'm be more interested in watching The Bulls versus Toronto. Toronto still got some. Their guys. They're gonna be totally different in the offseason next year. I don't think most of those guys will be back. Fred VanVleet turned down a contract extension in the middle of the season, so I don't think he will be back with Toronto. They're already interested in exploring trade rumors with OG Anunoby. I think that's most likely to be happening in the offseason. Pascal Siakam is not really happy there, so I think that team will be totally different, but I think they are right now is better than the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls is a big disappointment with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. They was trying to shop him in a trade deadline. Nothing did go through, but Zach LaVine, just to be that athletic as he is, he shoots too many damn jumpers to be that athletic and be that explosive. He does shoot a lot. DeMar DeRozan, you know what he is. He's a mid-range shooter. Nothing more. And then Pat Williams has been a disappointment. Pat Williams has been a disappointment since he's been.
I gotta disagree with you on that.
I think he ain't hit his ceiling. He hasn't hit his ceiling the way he's supposed to hit his ceiling. So again, he's Vukovic don't play any defense. He can't stand in front of nobody, but he is a good spot up shooter. I'll give him that credit though. So the Bulls, a big disappointment. I think Toronto is a better team, but I would not also be shocked the Bulls do beat them. So this game can go either way.
Yeah, especially with Toronto can get cold from shooting three. I think that's the only way that Toronto can lose this game if they can start off cold from the 3-point line because they like to take those 3-point shots.
If Toronto loses, is Nick Nurse gone?
Nah.
I think Nick Nurse gone either way.
I think he's gone.
I heard they were looking at Ime.
It's out there. It's true. I think it's true. I think Nick Nurse is gone after this year. I think he kind of lost a little bit, part of that locker room a little bit. Him and Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet turned down a contract extension. And him and Pascal Siakam got into multiple disagreements. So I think Nick Nurse is pretty much gone after this season. I think this is the last hoorah of Toronto, pretty much.
Hey, real quick before we leave, there's also another matchup in the East that's got announced. That's the Brooklyn Nets versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Tell me who wins and how many games. Coach.
I got Philadelphia. I think they win in 5. I just don't think Brooklyn has enough. I just don't think they quite good enough, especially with Mikal. Mikal Bridges is really good since he's been really good since coming over down to Brooklyn. But I just think Philadelphia is too much. It's too much. Now, if you tell me they had Miami, I damn near may pick Miami to win in 7. If that matchup was different with Miami, because I think Miami, as far as Miami, I think they are a better matchup. I think they cause more problems on the defensive end for the 76ers, and they know how to play the 76ers. But as this series, I think the Sixers win it in 5 games. I think Brooklyn get 1 win on their home court.
All right, Mike.
I'm gonna go 6. I think Philly will come out and dominate. Then I think they'll end up trying to low manage, which the Nets will end up winning a game or 2. And then they get back serious to finish the series off. So I think they're going to use this series to try to rest players as well as still trying to win games, which will allow the Brooklyn Nets to take a game or 2.
All right, Chris.
Can you put Gene's comment up there? I would say 5 as a gentleman's sweep, but like Coach said, it's just Mikal Bridges. I wouldn't be surprised if he got the broom out and them boys get swept.
Hey, I'm gonna go Philadelphia. I believe it goes 6 games. I really like what Mikal Bridges has became, especially since going to Brooklyn. But this is a matchup that Philadelphia should definitely
win.
Definitely win, and Joel Embiid should definitely empower his will. And I believe that we're going to have some big matchups. I believe James Harden have a big game. They should have Maxey back by then. But I'm gonna go with Philadelphia in Game 6. But this isn't a matchup that Philadelphia should not take lightly.
Perfect situation for Ben Simmons to come back.
I doubt that he's coming back.
I was just talking shit. It'll make for better basketball. Philly.
I agree. It would, bruh. Could you imagine Simmons versus Embiid, talking that talk. Like, come on, Ben, make
Simmons
it
ain't talking
interesting.
no noise though.
I know, but come on, Ben. We know Joel Embiid is though. Like, come on, Ben. Like, let's make this interesting. Please make this interesting.
And are we seeing Ben Simmons ever in the NBA jersey again?
Most definitely.
Man, did you see that? I believe it's KG came out and said, "Hey, yo, Ben, we need you to find the level of the game again. Like we." And I think the game needs Ben Simmons. Like, bro, like let's not forget. I understand, Philadelphia fans they hate him. I understand it, but when he first got there, like bro, Ben was doing things that we haven't seen. Like he was a great point guard for them. I mean, the offense was running, was flowing. I mean, he's a great defender. I mean, hey,
I'm finna bring this whole conversation back like complete full circle. I know it won't happen, but could Ben Simmons and Luka work together?
No.
I don't think that.
If he can shoot,
No.
that would be.
But that's the thing. Like,
I don't think. It'll
okay,
work.
when you talked about James Harden earlier, Luka has that style. James Harden, one of his best years was with Chris Paul, who was kind of a traditional point guard. But Chris Paul would shoot, and I know Ben Simmons ain't gonna shoot, but Ben Simmons can, he can set the pace and everything, and he's gonna be a defender. So that leaves Luka open to just ball out, really. Yeah, you would need a shooter, but you would have a great defender, and you'd have somebody who can run the offense too.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense for the defensive and the playmaking. But as far as like having that extra guy to shoot, I have a little question about that. But overall, what you just said, I think it makes sense. But the shooting would just scare me off a little bit.
Who will play a full season again? Will it be Ben or will it be Zion?
Zion has a better chance, but will he? I don't know.
If Ben get his head together, I go Ben Simmons.
It's like if Ben's more mental though, Zion is physical.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take Ben on this one. I think I think the weight caused Zion some issues. I think him being about 280 pounds and that big, I really think that caused him some injuries. But Ben Simmons is more of a physical mindset for us, a physical mindset. So I'm gonna gamble on Ben Simmons playing a full year. I just think Zion, him not being in shape and his weight just gonna cause him too many issues.
I'm gonna go Ben as well. I think Ben is gonna go out and I think he's gonna go find the love for the game. I think this summer. I think it's gonna be a huge summer for him, and I expect him to come back, especially with this team in Brooklyn, and him come back and show us that he can still he's still worthy of that number one pick.
Man, it's crazy though, but it's easier to overcome a physical element than mental, and that's what Ben's problem is. His mentality is making him have physical problems. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He don't want to read this chat because if he reads this chat, he can go to a mental coma. He can go to mental coma, right? Nobody's showing him no love in the chat. But hey man, I want to thank each and one of you guys for coming on Top of the Key podcast. I think we held it down. I think we performed. We did what we had to do. It was very informative, very educational, especially to Chris. He needs to be educated every once in a while. Want to thank you.
I'll educate you in June, sir.
Mike, I want to thank you for coming on, brother. It was fun talking to you. Coach Dante, as always. Chris, you already know what it is. I want to thank all the viewers in the chat. I want to thank you guys for interacting with us. Definitely a great show. We have Lakers versus Suns. Easy win for the Lakers. Chris will be ducking me. He won't be texting me. He won't be in the chat as usual. But other than that, you guys,
nobody from the Suns is playing. Well, that's why I'm wearing this shirt. They're gonna throw me in the game.
Well, yeah, I have no depth, so I definitely agree with you on that. This is another great episode of Top of the Key podcast on the Sports Empire Network. Make sure you guys follow and subscribe for all the great content we put out. Until next time, We are out of here, you guys.